Our last method of solving is solving systems by elimination. So our goal when solving by elimination is to what? Think of that word eliminate. It is to get rid of or to cancel out one variable. Well, in order to do this, in order to cancel one of those variables, you must have the same coefficient for that variable. Okay, remember coefficient is the number in front of the variable, but opposite signs. Why do you think we need opposite signs? Well, to cancel something, we need it to equal 0. So think of 4 minus 4. That's 0. A positive and a negative. 4 minus 4, it's 0. We've got something to cancel out. So the first thing that we are always going to check for when we solve by elimination is we're going to align variables. So when we align variables, we want x's on top of x's, y's on top of y's, my equal sign on top of my equal sign, and typically a number over a number. We want those things in a straight line. It'll help to cancel those things out. So if we look at our example up here at the top, they already aligned everything, so we don't have to worry about that for step number 1. We now want to look for a variable to easily eliminate. So when we look at our x's and our y's, my y is going to be the variable I eliminate. I have opposite signs, which is good. However, I'm missing one of my conditions. I don't have a 7 in front of each of those y's. But this is where this comes into. Okay. Our next step, in order to truly let these eliminate, is we need to determine how to. Okay, so we're going to determine how to eliminate the variable. I'm going to scratch out number 4 here for more space. And we're typically going to do this. We're going to eliminate by multiplication. And when we multiply, we're either multiplying one equation or both equations in order to get that variable to eliminate. Well, the equation, that needs to be changed is this top equation. This y needs to have a 7 attached to it. So this is 5x plus y equals 9. So if I want there to be a 7 here, what should I multiply my whole equation by? Hopefully you say 7, because 1 times 7 is 7. So this new equation is going to become 35x plus 7y equal to 63. 9 times 7 is 63. Now that I have this equation changed, my next step is to add these equations together. When we add them together, we're going to write them one on top of the other. So we're going to write this first equation because it was the first equation on top. So 35x plus 7y equals 63. And I'm going to rewrite the equation we did not change. When we go to add these equations up, we're going to add each column. Scroll this up for y'all. So I'm going to put a plus and a line here. We're going to add each column. So 35 and 10 is 45x. These cancel. Do I have to write 0y? No. Anything times 0 is 0. It cancels out. We got rid of it. And 63 minus 18 is also 45. Well, we don't have x by itself yet, so we're going to continue to solve for the indicated variable. How can we solve for x here? Hopefully you told yourself that you could divide by 45. So x equals 1. Can I leave that as my final answer? The answer is no. We have to have an ordered pair. So we're going to substitute it in for one of my original equations. Now, it will not matter which one you choose to substitute it into. I just try to choose one that's the easiest to work with. So to me, the easiest to work with is 5x plus y equals 9. So I'm going to have 5x. I need to substitute in for x. I'm sorry. We'll wipe that out. Plus y equals 9. And for that x, we'll put in that 1. So we have 5 plus y equal to 9. But to get that y by itself, what do we need to do? Subtract. So y should equal 4. Now, if you don't believe me and want to double check, you can substitute that 1 in for that other equation, and you should still get a 4 back. Remember, your answer is an ordered pair. So my final answer here should be 1, 4. I'm going to do a couple more practice problems on the back. So let's flip this over. All right, on the back here, I'm going to work out 1, 3, and 6. If you don't want to listen to me work it out, you may fast forward, pause, play ahead, and just look at my work. I'm going to talk through it and hopefully get this done in the next few minutes. So, my variables are aligned. That's the first thing I need to check. I also want to check to see if anything eliminates. Well, if you look at your y's, I have a -2 and a +2. Those are going to eliminate. So I get to skip ahead to where I get to add these things up. 2 plus 2 is 4. These will cancel. And this equals a -4. So x equals a -1. So I'll go back to one of my original equations and substitute in for x. So -2 minus 2y equals a -8. -2y equals a -6. So y equals 3. And I'll write my final answer as an ordered pair. Looking down at number 3 now, if I look, my variables are not aligned. So the first thing I need to do is I need to rearrange this second equation so that my variables do align. So I'm going to rewrite them both. 6x minus 5y equals a negative 4. 6x minus 7y equals a negative 20. By doing that, I now have my x's, my y's, and my numbers all on top of each other. And again, when I did that, I found a number that I could easily eliminate right away. So these will cancel. Negative 12y is equal to a negative 24. So y equals 2. And again, I'm going to go back to one of my original equations, negative 6x minus 5. And then for that y, I'll plug in a 2. Okay, so I have negative 6x minus 5, minus 10, 5 times 2 is 10, equals a negative 4. Negative 6x equals 6, so x equals a negative 1. My final answer is negative 1, 2. Last example here, we have to double check if my variables are aligned, and they are not. So we're going to take the time to rewrite them here in number 6. So I'm going to write them right underneath. So 4x plus 9y equals 9. X minus 3y equals a negative 6. X's, y's, numbers. I have two options here. Okay, I could get my x's to cancel, or I could get my y's to cancel. I'm going to get my x's to cancel. If I want my x's to cancel, I'm going to multiply this bottom equation by 4. And I'm going to get 4x minus 12y equal to a negative 24. And just for the ease of things, I'm going to rewrite that top equation so everything's aligned again. I now can add these things up. This should be 12 and 9 is 21. Yeah. Negative 21y is equal to 15. Let's see if I did all my math right. 4, 12, negative 24, 21, 15. Okay. So when we go to divide, I'm going to get y equals 15 over a negative 21. Can that be simplified? I sure hope so. It can be simplified to 5 over a negative 7. Okay. So now we get to substitute in this lovely fraction. So let's work that out. So to save some time, I just worked it all out. Remember, when you add a fraction and a whole number, you need to find a common denominator. And so there's that. And I find x is equal to a negative 27/7. So again, we'll write our final answer as an ordered pair. So your task is to make sure you understand and try 2, 4, and 5. And we'll continue to practice tomorrow.